G'day guys, Googs here, I'm working on my drunk philosophy. This is part 2 of the anti-vaxxers, and I had to make this one separate. And before I get into it, my last video got a strike on it. Apparently it went against community guidelines and health regulations or some crap. I appealed it, it's now back up. You don't have to watch that one to see this one. However, it'll probably give you a better context of where I'm coming at overall. Today I'm going to deal with the people who are just against the COVID vaccine, that are being claimed as anti-vaxxers. And so I'm going to talk about that because it's a separate phenomenon, because a lot of these people have got all their other vaccinations, okay? They've had their polios, they've had all the rest of it. This one, though, there's 2 different threads that I've seen, and I'm going to talk about them. There may be more. You know, this is not only 2. This is I've seen 2 main threads running through the anti-vaxxer for the COVID-19 vaccines. And full disclosure, I've had my vaccines. So here's the first one. The first one, and the argument is there's been no long-term testing on this. There has been a few deaths with related to this vaccine, and it's dangerous because it's an experiment on the public. And I agree. I agree with that. All 3 of those things are true. They're true. Whether you like it or not, they're true. However, my argument to you would be, if it's about your safety, look at the percentage of people who get COVID and die from COVID or COVID-related illnesses, and then compare it to the percentage of people who die from getting the COVID vaccine. And you're going to find a major discrepancy. Like the distance between the 2 numbers, percentage-wise and in pure numbers, are huge. The difference is insanely different, okay? So, you know, and you could go even into surgery. You know, every time you get a medical procedure, there is a risk, as slim as it might be, that you are going to be allergic to something, you're going to have a bad reaction to something, or God forbid all these things, by the way. You know, hope to hell nothing like this happens. Or if you have a transplant, it doesn't take and it causes further complications down the line. There is always a risk with medicine. And people who go and have new forms of surgery, they might be the first person to actually have that surgery. You call it a trial surgery. You know, these things happen, and sometimes you've just got to take the risk, because the statistics bear out that you're better off with it than without it. Okay? So I understand the arguments, and everything that you're saying is true. However, look at the statistics properly, okay? That's the first argument I hear. The second argument I hear, okay, is principle. The government cannot mandate, and should not mandate the public to be medicated. Again, I agree. Completely agree. Here's my argument for that. When the government mandates come in, let's say you have the COVID injections, and what you're really against is the mandate. Whether you have the COVID injections or not, it doesn't stop you stopping work on the 1st of February when these things come in at midnight on the 30th of January. You can protest, you can strike, you can do all of those things with or without the jab. You can tell the man to get stuffed with or without the jab. So on principle, if this is purely on principle, then what's the problem? You can still protest. You can still be anti-mandate. Like me, I'm anti-mandate. I think the mandate's a terrible idea. It's horrific. Government telling people how to medicate themselves, not a good idea. Very much against it. But it doesn't matter. If it's on principle, then you can have the jab and protest. If you don't have the jab, you can still protest. It's irrespective of whether you're medicated or not. You can protest. Mind you, if you don't have the vaccine and you want to go tell the man to stick it up his nose, these mandates up his nose, you can't do that if you're in a hospital bed on a respirator. Just keep that in mind. And if it's not based on principle and you're just having a little tantrum and saying, how dare they tell us what to do, and you still plan to go to work if you have the COVID injection, then you weren't serious in the first place. there are some things in life that for a personal choice, and mind you, my vaccination was a personal choice for my own health. Once again, I don't agree with the mandates. I'm against them. Okay? You can choose on a personal level to say, look, I can still protest, I can still strike, I can still do all the other things and stick it to the man, but personally, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Two things can be true at the same time. I'm Nathan Gooks Fletcher. This is My Drunk Philosophy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Hooroo!